mastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This is a good question to begin with. Does Vedantic meditation have to be done only while sitting? What other options are there? Let us see. You can do it while standing, or what is the other option? Lying down. If you lie down and meditate, what comes? Everybody is an expert on lying down meditation, and that's why it is not advised. It's not about Vedantic meditation, any meditation. There is no such thing as Vedantic meditation. Any meditation that is described in the Shastra, there you can, the whole idea is learning to be with yourself. That is the idea. Because if you sit by yourself even for 5 minutes, what comes is anxiety, fears, all kinds of thoughts spiraling, not upwards, downwards. Those are what come. Fears come, panic comes, OMG, I have not done this, OMG, what's going to happen next? Those kinds of thoughts come, and therefore it is to practice being comfortable with myself, with oneself, and getting to know the I that is not just this body, not just this mind, and not just the senses. That is why there is a specific way to sit, and this we did not discover, we did not invent this. This was already done many sages ago. So, therefore, we follow that. We follow that because we don't need to, as they say, reinvent the wheel. Wheel has already been reinvented long ago by humankind. So if you say, I am going to now reinvent the wheel, what meaning does it have? So since something has already worked for all the exalted sages, so we also just follow that. That is first thing. Second thing about the meditation itself is that we practice training the mind, disciplining the mind. Nowhere do we use the word control, not controlling. Training, disciplining. Disciplining the mind to be not running from thought to thought to thought to thought to thought. Usually the mind is like a frog. It jumps from one thought to another. We say without rhyme or reason. There is a rhyme usually. There is a reason usually. When you think of Honda, the car, immediately it's not very far to think of Bonda, okay, the snack. So from Honda to Bonda, there is no reason, but what is there? Rhyme is there. Rhyme is very much there. Reason is also there, but it is somewhere in the subconscious or buried in the unconscious mind. The reason is not known to me, but the reason is there. So therefore, this is called Vijatiya Vritti Pravaha. All kinds of random thoughts keep coming and going and coming and going, and the Ahankara, just follows the thought one after the other, one after the other. And we all know where this leads. Where does this lead? Depression, anxiety. That's where it leads. So to interrupt that, we practice in the meditation Sajatiya Vritti Pravaha. Pravaha, flow, Vritti, thoughts, Sajatiya, similar thoughts or even the same thoughts. We enforce the flow of same thoughts. What is the first thought? Om Namah Shivaya. What is the second thought? Om Namah Shivaya. What is the third thought? Om Namah Shivaya. What is the fourth thought? Is anything happening? Did I have moksha already? And then the fifth thought is Om Namah Shivaya. Sixth thought is, I don't know if anything is happening. I don't know. I've been practicing this for so long, kuch nahi ho raha hai. And like this, the mind will stray, but I have made a pact with the mind that you are only going to think this, so I bring the mind back. Who is the boss now? The ahankara, the I is the boss. I am the boss now. The ahankara is listening to the sakshi, is for a change, identifying with the witness rather than with all the thoughts jumping round and round. The idea is, if we meditate, if one meditates for half an hour, then one slowly makes the non-meditative times of the day, which is 23 and a half hours, into an open eye meditation. That's the whole idea, that the sitting that we do bleeds into all other areas of the life, and then even when I am not sitting officially to meditate, that the thought process has been trained enough to have asangatvam. Asangatvam means uninvolvement, non-involvement. And so therefore I am ready, and I am able to have a calm, tranquil, enjoy a calm, tranquil mind even in the so-called non-meditative periods. So then we can therefore do walking meditation and eating meditation. You don't talk to anybody, you are completely focused on the food, and whatever thoughts you have are about the food. You think about where the food came from. You can see the whole chain of how it came from the farmer to your table. All this you think about and give thanks to the food. You think you give thanks to Ishvara. All these things, it would all be Sajatiya Vritti Pravaha, walking meditation, all kinds of things. That's why the work itself, whatever job we do, is like a silent prayer, working meditation, walking meditation, all this can be done. So the whole idea is, in that concentrated time of sitting for meditation, then what will happen? It will build up the muscles. Here the antahkarana we are taking in the early morning to the gym, to the mantra gym, where it does all the weightlifting of the mantras. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, the antahkarana is doing, and then it's getting stronger and stronger to withstand the what is that, the forceful nature of the thoughts, and to withstand the ahankara from identifying with the thoughts. Okay. Yoga classes haven't started yet? You can start. Who is going to teach? Who will teach? First of all, we should ask not who will teach, who are all the people who can teach? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people can teach. Come and see me tomorrow, all of you who can teach. After lunch you can come and see me, 1 o'clock, and then we will see what to do. That I don't think there is a camp. Is that room being used? Do you know? That's why we can't have it. So first we will decide who is going to teach, and then when you come tomorrow, come and bring me the information of when that room will be empty. When are you leaving? You ask them. And then bring me the information, because all the yoga things are already transferred there. It's a nice room, and we should have yoga. 5:15 to 6 we should have it. But we knew that this camp was coming, so that's why I think we are not having it. Children's camp. Yeah. How does Brahma Vidya happen? If I illuminate everything, how can I illuminate myself? You are already illuminating yourself. That is what the nature of light is. You don't have to show a flashlight to the sun, right? You don't have to say, here is the sun, and shine a torch. No. You don't have to show a flashlight to the sun at all. The sun reveals everything, and then it does not need and cannot need a light to reveal itself. It reveals everything. It reveals itself also. That's why it's a luminous body, and therefore the Atma is like that. We have a nice example in the sun. So the sun reveals itself and reveals everything else. What does the Atma do? I reveal myself. I am self-revealing. I don't have to ask anyone, do I exist? I don't have to take everybody's opinions. What do you think? Do you think I exist? What about you? Do you think I exist? You don't have to go around like that. Unless one is a special person. What's the definition of a special person? The one who needs a specialist. Okay, that is the special person. You don't have to do that, because you already know you exist. That is why you think, that is why you talk, that is why you can ask the question, do I exist? So, this self-existent self, how can I illumine everything and illumine myself? Just like that. Like a lamp illumines everything, illumines itself. The sun illumines everything, illumines itself. You illumine everything, and you are illumining yourself. You are self-shining. Now, that is not Brahma Vidya, because everybody knows I am self-shining. Everybody knows that, or can be made to see that in half a minute. You can be made to see I am self-existent, self-shining, self-evident, self-luminous, however you want to put it. That we can see. For that you don't even need Vedanta. You don't need Vedanta to establish that the self is self-evident. Why? Because it is self-evident. It is not dependent on anything else. Vedanta Shastra, Pramana, the operation of the means of knowledge, are needed for knowing the nature of this self-evident I. I may be self-evident, all right. That is just the portal to Vedanta. That's a doorway. Because the self is self-evident, based upon this self-evident self, we can have numerous prakriyas, we can talk about so many things. If the self were not self-evident, we will have to pack up, we'll have to pack up, and all the Swamis would be out of a job. So if the self is not self-evident, how can you teach? You can't teach. Since the self is self-evident, the teaching is all based on this self-evident self alone. That is how the teaching takes place. And so to this self-evident self, that is partially understanding itself. Partially understanding itself means what? It understands itself a little bit. I know I am. Wonderful. Then don't ask me the next question, who are you, what are you, don't ask. What will come, the answer that will come is donkey, because this is what everybody called me when I was small. And so therefore, this is what I think I am. It is partially known. This self-existent I is partially known simply as existent, but its nature is not fully known, like even something lying in the twilight with 3 bends. What is that? Rope. See, everybody has become very clever now. Yeah. So it's a rope, but then I don't know it's a rope because I can only see something like this. I can just see a akara, a form. What this form is not clear to me. So then, because of my own fears and my own worst tendencies to be afraid, I think I project my fear onto the rope and conclude it is a snake. This is what it is. I know something is there. So the I is partially known as I am, but then if you start filling in the blanks by yourself, I am ... all kinds of wrong notions will come, with which one has identified, which is just one's own projected fears, which are one's own worst conclusions about the nature of the I. So the operation of the pramana called Vedanta Shastra does not establish the self, it removes the doubts centered on the self along with all the wrong notions, leaving in its wake, it removes the eclipse of the doubts, leaving in its wake the nature of oneself as glorious, free of sorrow and whole and free. So how does Brahma Vidya happen? So this is how Brahma Vidya happens. The pramana is operated by the teacher, and the book called the Upanishad is not yet a means of knowledge. It's not a means of knowledge if it is read by oneself. It is converted into the means of knowledge when it is handled by a teacher. The operation of a pramana is a dynamic, live event, not a static thing that is happening. So in the classroom setting, the teacher handles the pramana, all the methodologies are there, everything through which the truth of the self is communicated, and in fact the truth of the self is communicated as much by negation as by positive affirmations. And the teaching through negation is called neti, neti, na iti, not this. Why? Because I have confused myself to be this. I have confused myself to be incomplete. I have confused myself to be finite, subject to death, subject to sickness. I have confused myself to be the body. I have confused myself to be the mind. These confusions are removed, and then the positive affirmations, nityah, sarvagatah, sthanuhu, like this are given. Nityah, always here, not going anywhere, always existent. Sarvagatah, all pervasive, not confined to this one body, mind complex. Sthanuhu, that which is unchanging. All this is also given, and because of which the ignorance is dismissed. The ignorance connected to the self-ignorance, as I told you this morning, is in the form of vritti. The vritti becomes chronic. So the self-ignorance is expressed in the form of vrittis, and so the vritti coming from the teacher, the vritti of neti neti, the vritti of the operation of the pramana, cancels out these vrittis which are in the head of the student, and then shows the truth of the self. This vritti also is temporary, that vritti is also temporary. This vritti overpowers and overwhelms that vritti, because this vritti is based in the truth of what you want to be. If I ask, Who wants to be incomplete? Who wants to be finite? Who wants to not be full? Nobody will raise their hands. And so therefore, this is a universal want, and so therefore this vritti of oneness is very, very welcome. Akhandakara vritti, Brahmakara vritti, this is the vritti of oneness. And that vritti of oneness overwhelms, embraces the antahkarana and overwhelms the sad vritti, bad vritti, mad vritti, I am sad vritti, nobody loves me vritti, this whole life is useless vritti, I'll never get this knowledge vritti, moksha seems far away vritti, what am I doing here vritti, what will happen in 3 months, nothing will happen vritti. All these vrittis are flooded, are overpowered by this vritti, because this vritti is what you really want. And coming from the teacher, it is coming from outside of your little network of gangsters. These gangster vrittis that have held the antahkarana and the ahankara hostage. So this vritti, as soon as the vritti of oneness comes, the gangsters run away, at least for the time being. They run away. And the oneness vritti, Brahmakara vritti, the vritti which takes on the form of Brahman, floods the antahkarana, and because one is Brahman, the truth of it is all recognized, is recognized in that instant. That's why 9/10 of this knowledge is preparation, 1/10 is receiving this knowledge. That's why we have to have a calm mind, we have to have shraddha, receptivity, giving the benefit of doubt, trust, all these things. So that's why, that's how Brahman knowledge happens. Next one. If both couples, if both in a couple or are on a path of dharma, would you say it can be beneficial on the pursuit of moksha? No, it is definitely beneficial, or an obstacle. It's not an obstacle. Being in a couple is not an obstacle, provided people are on the path of dharma. Definitely. Because what happens is that, there is, even though we make fun, moksha express, and then the moksha slow train, etc. But the slow train has some advantages as well. It may be slow, but the thing is, it gives time for preparation. There's a lot of homework that is already done. Definitely there is homework that is done. So if both are pursuing the path of dharma, then it is a very happy marriage. It's a very happy union if both are pursuing the path of dharma. Imagine, everybody knows the story of Valmiki, right? Before he had a conversion, what was he? One of the most adharmic persons. And he was married to a very dharmic lady. This is not a very good union. But here, if both are on the path of dharma, then moksha is definitely the end. The end that is to be pursued together. We see this example in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yajnavalkya and Maitreyi. Both are sages, and one day Yajnavalkya comes and says, "Bye-bye." "What? I'm pushing off." "Where are you going?" The Upanishad is a lady of few words. "Ut yasyan, by the way, I'm leaving. I would like to go." "Where would you like to go?" "I would like to be by myself and revel in this knowledge," he says. In other words, he is going to take sannyasa. And he says, "Oh, I have given you all the cattle and money and wealth and everything. You'll be very happy." She turns around and asks the question. She says, "Whatever wealth you have given me, will I get what you are searching for?" Being an honest person, perhaps a contemporary husband would have said, yeah, and gone. But being an honest man, he said, being a dharmic man, he says, no. Na vittena asha asti amritatvasya. There is no hope of immortality with money. The money is neither going to give you moksha, nor is it going to deny you moksha. There is no connection between money and moksha. There is only one similarity. Both start with M. That's all. That's all. There is no other. That's where the similarity ends. There is no difference. There is no connection between money and moksha. Money cannot aid moksha, neither can it become an obstacle to moksha. So therefore what? Yatha upakarnavatam jivitam tava jivitam eva syat. Just like upakarnavatam means people of resources, how they live. They will stay in 5-star hotels, they will fly, they'll suddenly feel, oh, I think I need to have a continental breakfast. Oh, so which restaurant shall we go? No, let's just fly to Paris for breakfast. And what will we do after that? Oh, we'll just look around and then come back to India by the time it is dinner. We'll have dinner in Mumbai. Because there's so much money, they don't know what to do. And so this kind of a lifestyle you can have, you can be comfortable, but it's not going to give you moksha, it's not going to deny you moksha. So then she says, as your wife, I am entitled to half of everything you said, and then, but this knowledge cannot be halved because it's the knowledge of the whole. You need to give me the whole knowledge. Very beautiful dialogue. Atmava are shrotavyah mantavyah nididhyasitavyah, he teaches. And so like this, we have beautiful stories of the couples going towards this path together. It's not a deterrent, because when institutions in the society like marriage, children, they speed up moksha. Why? First you want moksha from the marriage. That's when you realize, oh, so this is something, this is a very interesting situation. But you can't have moksha from the marriage because you know better, and you know that even after 10 such mokshas, even in the 11th marriage, there will be problems, you know that. And even without being married 11 times, one knows this. And so therefore, one is very easy with dropping the ragadveshas. There is a nice arena for dropping the ragadveshas, for growing together. And then when the children comes, the pursuit of moksha is sped up even more. Faster one goes. Because the children, especially when they become teenagers, till then they are cute, no problem. And when do they get uncute? When they are questioning so many things. And the growth hormones are raging all over the body. They are angry, they are upset, they are reactive. So that's when they know all the buttons to push. Where? In you. Even the GPS locations of the buttons you never knew you had, they know, and they will push. So therefore, then also there is an opportunity to practice titiksha. Titiksha, forbearance. Forbearance for the sake of maturing for this knowledge. So likewise, so in the same way, family life is not going to stop you from pursuing moksha. The only thing that can stop you from pursuing moksha is you. That is all. Okay. Now, is ignorance part of the order of Ishvara? If yes, how can there be an error, since we need to remove it? Very good question. Okay. So, is ignorance part of the order of Ishvara? Yes, we can say yes. The order of Ishvara includes ignorance, because if ignorance, see, this is a very interesting question. If I say ignorance is outside Ishvara, then what will be the question? How come I have it? Am I also outside Ishvara? Okay, if I am outside Ishvara and I remove the ignorance, how come then I become inside Ishvara? Because if it's outside Ishvara, it should be totally, completely outside Ishvara. So if ignorance is outside Ishvara, you cannot say. We are into some kind of an awkward conversations, so get ready for that. So we cannot say with a straight face, ignorance is outside Ishvara. But then you cannot also say ignorance is inside Ishvara. Can you say that? That's also sounding very strange. If ignorance is inside Ishvara, then how am I going to be redeemed by knowing this Ishvara which contains ignorance, which is in ignorance, which includes ignorance? So we are in a quandary. We cannot say ignorance is outside Ishvara. We cannot say ignorance is inside Ishvara. So this is actually been debated by two schools of thought. One is called Bhamati Mata. Bhamati was the writing of one Vachaspati Mishra. Bhamati is the name of the wife of Vachaspati Mishra. Upon her only, he named his treatise, treatise to the Brahma Sutra. His Vartika to the Brahma Sutra, he named after his wife, who he neglected for many, many years. He didn't even look at her, and then suddenly after he finished the work, many, many years into the marriage later, a lady was standing in front of him, and then he said, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" And she was not looking like when they were first married, because 25 years had gone by. She was having grey hair, and she was standing there, and he was like, "Who are you?" And she must have been a great lady, because instead of throwing the coffee she was holding in her hand at him, she very calmly said, "I am your wife. I have looked after you, cleaned up, and kept everything ready for you, so you can write this, and you have been so busy writing this." And he was filled with remorse, and he names this work after her. And all the disciples and the proponents of this Vachaspati Mishra as Bhamati book are called Bhamatikaras, people who pursue this Bhamati Mata. Bhamati Mata. And then we have the other one, Vivarana school. Vivarana school of thought here, Vivarana school of Vedanta. And so there in the Bhamati Mata, what do they say? That this ignorance is not in Ishvara's order. It cannot belong to Ishvara. Then where does it belong to? If it's not Ishvara, then who does it belong to? Jiva. So ignorance, ajnanam, this is the controversy. Ajnanam, is it Brahmashraya or Jivashraya? It is Ashraya, means where does it sit? Where is the locus of ignorance? Is it in Brahman or is it in the Jiva? Now, if you say Jivashraya, then what happens? Then we have a lot of problems with that thinking. Jivashraya means then how do you then it is not in Ishvara. If it is outside of Ishvara and in the Jiva, how is the Jiva ever going to get rid of this ignorance? And then if you say it is Brahmashraya, then we have the awkward, we have another awkward moment of saying Ishvara is ignorant. Now both these schools have to be reminded that ignorance is mithya and as good as non-existent. It is an as though ignorance. That's why it cannot have a beginning. Because if ignorance had a beginning, then we are in deep, deep trouble. Because what was there before ignorance? Knowledge. And then what will be there after ignorance? Knowledge. So now I am sitting here, I have joined a 3-month course to remove ignorance, and then ignorance will be replaced by knowledge. And then what is to say that the knowledge will not again be replaced by ignorance, both being opposed to one another? So therefore, this we cannot have so therefore we cannot say that this ignorance is centered on the either Jiva or Brahman, because both have some problems, because in both those matas we are taking ignorance as Satyam, as another entity, as a new entity. No, it is not a new entity. So we go with the Vivarana school of thinking, which says that ignorance is also Brahmashraya, Ishwarashraya. Ashraya doesn't mean it is located in Ishvara. Ashraya means it is dependent upon Ishvara for its existence. So too is everything. The part is dependent on Brahman, everything is dependent, everything is Brahmashraya. Why leave out ignorance? Because nothing is outside Brahman, everything is as though, ignorance is as though. So an as though ignorance is not having the power to make the knowledgeable Brahman ignorant. So therefore, Brahman is untouched by ignorance. You are also untouched by ignorance. You have to find that out. That is why it has to be removed. And that's why this error is not this is not a flaw in Ishvara's Srishti. It's not a Ishvara Srishti, does not have flaws. This is not a flaw. Okay? Yeah, very nice question. Then next one, Nachiketa is a Kumara. Isn't it normal that a small boy has no desire for wealth? I wonder why he's chosen to teach us Vairagya when small boys are not interested in wealth. Yeah, you see, good point. But then when we teach the Kathopanishad, what we have to do is update that to the contemporary times. Small children may not be interested in wealth, but they sure are interested in other things like cars, small cars, trucks, and video games. So many things are there. So you, in your mind, as you study that portion of the Upanishad, and if ever you are going to teach that, you update that to include all the things that small boys are interested in. So Nachiketa offers not just wealth, he offers music, dance, singers, cars, rathas, all kinds of cars. So then you have to just update that to include all these things, and then it's not that small boys have vairagya towards wealth. In fact, the contemporary small children are very, very clever. They know that they need a credit card in order to go get things. They know that money is needed. They may not be directly interested in money, indirectly they are interested in money. One student came to me, she was little worried about her boy who was not talking he was 2 years old, and he was not speaking anything, and she was little worried, and so she just came and shared that, and I said I will pray for this child and everything. And then some time later she called me, she was very excited. He has said the first words. I said, what it is? Did he call you mother, Amma? Did he talk, did he say daddy? What happened? And then she said, alas, I wish he had said Amma, Akka, he had addressed his sister or me or my husband. Instead, his first words were Visa card. Yeah. So there goes that theory that small boys are not interested in wealth. So she was very surprised, but see, this is so pervasive. This kind of the economy is very quickly understood by small children. And then I have also one more thing to say, is that he saw the Vishvajit Yajna. Vishwajit Yajna, he saw all the wealth being given away. So it was not that he was unaware of that. And he knew that this will take him to Brahmaloka. So to go to Brahmaloka, you have to pay. So he knew that. He seems to have, he's very astute and seems to have some idea of how economics works. But still, it's good to include all the other freebies that, that Yama offered him. Okay, that is how, wait, read, yes, okay. Next one. How can one recognize whether they are truly working on disidentifying from the I and not unconsciously slipping into dissociation? Again, a very good question. Okay, how to recognize that you're disidentifying from the I? You don't see, this is the thing, you don't disidentify from the I. You disidentify from objects, from association with and identification with anatma. You don't disidentify from atma. If you disidentify from atma, who is the disidentifier? Atma. So atma cannot disidentify from atma. You disidentify from everything that is anatma, such as body, such as mind, such as senses, all these things. You disidentify from that, and then there too this danger can be there, because there is a strong, in many people, especially those who have had some kind of identifiable trauma in childhood, there is this way people have of just leaving the body. Without really leaving the body, something has left, there is no connection, one is numb and one is going about one's day being disconnected. So, therefore, this particular prakriya, where one says, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the senses, works for a majority of people. But if you are by nature a kind of prone to dissociation because of childhood PTSD. The PTSD, what does that stand for? Post-traumatic stress disorder. So if you have childhood PTSD and you are already on a dissociating path, this particular neti methodology is not for you yet. So you have to have a little prerequisite, complete a little prerequisite before applying the neti methodology, and that will look like iti, like in the sense of you have to feel everything. Feel the ground that you walk on, feel the water, feel the, take some Ganga water in the hand, splash it on the face, feel that, do everything mindfully. Feel the toes, feel the fingers, feel everything. And then say, don't say this is all not me, just say this is all me. See, there are two ways of, what is that called, training the ego. One, like in the first portion of the Sri Rudram, is to say, Namaha, 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 Na Mama, Na Mama, it's not mine, it's not me, it's not me, not me, not me, not me, not me. And then the ego shrinks into a small little kernel. Or you can do what the Chamakam does. And what does the Chamakam do? This is me, this is me, this is also me, whatever you think of, it's me, it's me, it's me. And so it's like a balloon. You keep putting air into it, the ahankara gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. What happens? Gone. So either method works for the ahankara. Ahankara is gone because it is so big it cannot contain everything within its little understanding of itself. So its understanding is nicely shaken up in both the ways. So if there is any kind of a remnant of childhood trauma, don't try to say, what is that? I am not the body, I am not the mind immediately. Do I am everything. Do Sarvatma Bhava contemplation, meditation. I am everything. And then after that you can strategically say, I am not just the body. I'm not just the mind, I'm more than the mind. You can do that. Where are samskaras stored? In a special locked box. In the Sukshma Shariram. Sukshma Sharira, subtle body. The subtle body comprises 17 things. 5 organs of action, 5 sense organs, 5 pranas, mind and buddhi. And this, this is what goes from birth to birth. After a person who does not have self-knowledge passes away, then the gross body goes to the gross elements. The subtle body does not resolve. The subtle body is the plane which carries all the desires, the samskaras, vasanas, raga, dvesha, and so many tendencies, anger, fear, all the baggage. So the baggage is carried on the Sukshma Sharira plane without any excess baggage fees. If you say, I have a lot more, I have one more suitcase full of raga dveshas, bring it on, no problem. It's an expandable plane like Pushpaka. Pushpaka could be a 2-seater or it could be a 12-seater. So, like Pushpaka, this is an expandable plane. You bring on whatever you want and then we can go. So, all the samskaras are stored, as it were, in the subtle body, and then it is reborn. And that's why sometimes, when looking at this small child, the parents wonder, did an exchange take place in the hospital? This child is not like us at all. Where did this child come from? It's very clear that the child has come through them, but it is come from somewhere else. It's very, very clear. It will have its own personality. And so, the samskaras are part of the what is called subtle body. Enough. Let's have a bhajan or something. This we'll do tomorrow. Who can sing? Notice the question. Who can sing? Okay. Yeah. Let's see who can sing and who has not yet gone till now. You can sing? Come. Come here. That mic. Take this mic. Aajao. No, you can't sit there. Everybody has to see. Sit on the floor here. Come. Sit here, yeah. Face, yeah, like that. Perfect.
You can try and sing it with me. मन एक बार हरि बोल, मन एक बार हरि बोल, हरि पिता हरि माता, हरि गुरु ज्ञान दाता, हरि पिता हरि माता, हरि गुरु ज्ञान दाता, चिदानंद रूप हरि पतित पावन हरि बार हरि बोल, मन एक बार हरि बोल, मन एक बार हरि बोल.
Famous song by Purandaradasa. ಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮನಿ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮನಿ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ಗೆಜ್ಜೆ ಕಾಲ್ಗಳ ಧ್ವನಿಯನ್ನು ತೋರುತ್ತ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಯ ನೆಕ್ಕುತ್ತ ಗೆಜ್ಜೆ ಕಾಲ್ಗಳ ಧ್ವನಿಯನ್ನು ತೋರುತ್ತ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಯ ನೆಕ್ಕುತ್ತ ಸಜ್ಜನ ಸಾಧು ಪೂಜೆಯ ವೇಳೆಗೆ ಸಜ್ಜನ ಸಾಧು ಪೂಜೆಯ ವೇಳೆಗೆ ಮಜ್ಜಿಗೆಯೊಳಗಿನ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆಯಂತೆ ಮಜ್ಜಿಗೆಯೊಳಗಿನ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆಯಂತೆ ಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮನಿ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ಕನಕವೃಷ್ಟಿಯ ಕರೆಯುತ್ತ ಬಾರೆ ಮನಕೆ ಮಾನವ ಸಿದ್ಧಿಯ ತೋರೆ ಕನಕವೃಷ್ಟಿಯ ಕರೆಯುತ್ತ ಬಾರೆ ಮನಕೆ ಮಾನವ ಸಿದ್ಧಿಯ ತೋರೆ ದಿನಕರ ಕೋಟಿ ತೇಜದಿ ಹೊಳೆಯುವ ದಿನಕರ ಕೋಟಿ ತೇಜದಿ ಹೊಳೆಯುವ ಜನಕರಾಯನ ಕುಮಾರಿ ಬೇಗ ಜನಕರಾಯಣ ಕುಮಾರಿ ಬೇಗ ಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮನಿ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ಅತ್ತೆತ್ತಗಲದೆ ಭಕ್ತರ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿತ್ಯ ಮಹೋತ್ಸವ ನಿತ್ಯ ಸುಮಂಗಳ ಅತ್ತೆತ್ತಗಲದೆ ಭಕ್ತರ ಮನೆಯಳು ನಿತ್ಯ ಮಹೋತ್ಸವ ನಿತ್ಯ ಸುಮಂಗಲ ಸತ್ಯವ ತೋರುವ ಸಾಧು ಸಜ್ಜನರ ಸತ್ಯವ ತೋರುವ ಸಾಧು ಸಜ್ಜನರ ಚಿತ್ತದಿ ಹೊಳೆಯುವ ಪುತ್ತಲಿ ಬೊಂಬೆ ಚಿತ್ತದಿ ಹೊಳೆಯುವ ಪುತ್ತಲಿ ಬೊಂಬೆ ಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮನಿ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆಯಿಲ್ಲದ ಭಾಗ್ಯವ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಕಂಕಣ ಕೈಯನ್ನು ತಿರುವುತ ಬಾರೆ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆಯಿಲ್ಲದ ಭಾಗ್ಯವ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಕಂಕಣ ಕೈಯನ್ನು ತಿರುವುತ ಬಾರೆ ಕುಂಕುಮಾಂಕಿತೆ ಪಂಕಜಲೋಚನೆ ಕುಂಕುಮಾಂಕಿತೆ ಪಂಕಜಲೋಚನೆ ವೆಂಕಟರಮಣನ ಬಿಂಕದ ರಾಣಿ ವೆಂಕಟರಮಣನ ಬಿಂಕದ ರಾಣಿ ಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮನಿ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ಸಕ್ಕರೆ ತುಪ್ಪ ಕಾಲುವೆ ಹರಸಿ ಶುಕ್ರವಾರದ ಪೂಜೆಯ ವೇಳೆಗೆ ಸಕ್ಕರೆ ತುಪ್ಪ ಕಾಲುವೆ ಹರಸಿ ಶುಕ್ರವಾರದ ಪೂಜೆಯ ವೇಳೆಗೆ ಅಕರೆಯುಳ್ಳ ಅಲಗಿರಿ ರಂಗನ ಅಕರೆಯುಳ್ಳ ಅಲಗಿರಿ ರಂಗನ ಚೊಕ್ಕ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ರಾಣಿ ಚೊಕ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ರಾಣಿ ಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮನಿ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ನಮ್ಮಮ್ಮನಿ ಸೌಭಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ.
Song on Lakshmi. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिश्च